Hey guys, Marlon here from Games and Warriors channel, and welcome back to another Let's Talk Gaming. This is episode 6, and I haven't done one of these in a very long time, but we're going to start it back up again, and possibly every week we're going to try to, do it. And so we have a special guest here, my man JJ from the Coalition website. Go check them out, thecoalition.com, as well as IGN. So he freelance for IGN or whatever. So my man JJ, go ahead and introduce yourself to the fans, my brother.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for having me on. It's pretty cool to at least chat it up again because we haven't chatted in a while, because since you've been busy, I've been busy over here as well and whatnot. So it's all good. But yeah, I freelance for IGN. I do stuff for thecoalition.com. I'm the senior editor over there. I'm on YouTube. I do my own YouTube videos, and I'm on Twitter, and I post up a lot about video games all over the place.
Nice. So he's basically a gamer all around, guys. He's a true gamer. Okay, that's what a true gamer does. A true gamer stays on his grind. Okay, so we got a bunch of news topics here that we want to go over today, and the first thing that we're going to talk about is Super Meat Boy just got confirmed for the Nintendo Switch. And I know a lot of people are like excited about this. JJ, have you played this game before?
Which game again? Because you broke up.
Super Meat Boy.
Oh, Super Meat Boy. Well, yeah, I've played Super Meat Boy on other platforms. I know I played it a lot on Vita. It was also on Steam for a time on PC, so I played a little bit there, but I played it mostly on Vita.
On Vita. Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah. This was some good news here. From what I understand, that this is a very good game, very good indie game, and people are saying that they would really like to have a physical release of this game to the Nintendo Switch. So we're just gonna have to wait and see what ended up happening, if we're just gonna get a digital only version, or if we're gonna just get a physical copy of the game. So that was some really good news there to see that pop up on Twitter today. It was kind of trending. So yeah, that's some exciting news there for Nintendo Switch owners like myself. Okay, so this is quite interesting because a lot of people has been talking about the GameCube, the virtual console, whole thing with the Nintendo Switch. I believe Nintendo said that they're going to bring virtual console to the Nintendo Switch. I'm not completely sure. But apparently GameCube titles listing have started to pop up on Nintendo Europe servers. So that's kind of interesting that that's happening. So I don't know if this is saying that, they're going to bring virtual console, the GameCube, and then put the virtual console on the Switch, or if they're going to just put GameCube titles in the eShop. Anything on that, JJ?
I think it's interesting. I think it's expected for that to happen. This was always going to be the case. I'm pretty sure you probably see the same thing with other virtual console titles, around like N64, if not beforehand as well, because everybody, myself included, has always said that the more games that they could get onto the virtual console available for people to buy, the better off everybody's going to be and the more money they're going to make. So it's ideal to get a lot of the bigger GameCube titles that were really big hits on the GameCube as a platform in its library onto the virtual console so people could play again. Stuff like Luigi's Mansion, Metroid Prime, the original Metroid Prime, even though we got the Metroid Prime collection out there. Super Mario Sunshine, Mario Kart Double Dash, the list goes on. There's a bunch of different GameCube titles that they could put on there. I haven't looked at any list that was starting to appear on those servers in Europe, but I can imagine those will be some of the titles that you'll probably see pop up, not just in Europe, but here in the United States, as well as also Japan, regions withstanding. So it's to be expected. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited about that because that just adds a lot more, value to the Nintendo Switch. The next topic that I really want to talk about, and I actually made a video talking about this, and I know a lot of people are going to get a little touchy on this one, but this is just what I feel. and this is what's been happening, is that, you know, we've been getting so much indie titles on the Nintendo Switch, and you know that's expected because it's a mobile console, and you know you can, you know, it's quicker to have indie stuff on the system than it is for AAA stuff. And I feel like the Nintendo Switch right now is missing out on 90% of AAA titles, like all the AAA titles that we want right now, like Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, pretty much all the big name titles. What's it? Shadow of War, you know, all these big name titles, you know, Red Dead Redemption 2, Grand Theft Auto 6, you know, all these titles or whatever, like, is not coming out for the Nintendo Switch. And I feel like, you know, Nintendo just really got out of the crux of failure, you know, with the Wii U, you know, not having enough third-party titles. And so here we are again with another system, not enough, you know, third-party titles, and the online is terrible because it's like, okay, Nintendo, this is a mobile console, okay? This is a mobile console, and you will expect them to actually have the app or some, just like with PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, where, you know, everything is right there where you can just jump in and talk to your friends and everything like that. You would think that they will learn, you know, from their mistakes with, you know, the online aspect of everything. And I feel like that's why a lot of developers and a lot of companies are just like, no, we're not going to put our games, especially multiplayer games like Call of Duty and all that stuff, is like, they're kind of scared because it's like, how are you going to be able to talk? And it's like, no, don't tell me that I need my cell phone, okay, to download some app, and then this combustion of cords, you know, just so I can talk to my fans, like, or talk to my friends or whatever. That's ridiculous. You know what I mean? So I feel like they're really missing out on a lot of AAA stuff. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, no, give it time, or just wait until 2018. 2018 is right around the corner. But a lot of these companies, Ubisoft, Activision, all these companies are saying, hey, look, we're not putting our game on the Switch, Overwatch, all this stuff. And I feel like a lot of the games that we are getting right now is stuff that we already played before. You see what I'm saying? And it's just the same thing with the Wii U. When the Wii U first came out, remember, it was the same thing where we're getting all these rehashed titles from way back when, and I'm like, no, like we don't need this right now. What we really do need is stuff that we never played before. And so I feel like Nintendo, they really have to bring it home. They have to knock it out the park as far as third party is concerned. We know they're going to bring the first party stuff, but we really need them to come out with this whole thing of this olden age of communication, you know, with this whole app, and you got to have this and have that. No, it should just be straightforward. So JJ, what's your thoughts on that, about them losing 90% of their AAA titles, as well as the communication with the online?
Well, there's a lot to unpack there that you mentioned. There's a couple different things that we got to touch on at that point. Number one, I think the biggest thing is that at this point in the game, with the Switch being fairly new, still coming out this year, and we're only just getting started with its library starting to increase, it doesn't matter right now that we don't have the big third-party titles. And the reason being is because not only do you have the first-party titles that are phenomenal, that are really good at this point, you got games like Zelda right now, and then you got games on the horizon like Super Mario Odyssey that's coming. You got ARMS, you got Splatoon 2, the list goes on. The thing about that is that third parties come to the platforms that are already out there that have the big numbers of people that own them. I think part of it is, one, the problem is that there isn't enough Switches to go around, that people have been trying to get them. The demand is definitely there. It's a very high demand console. This is why you're always hearing about them sell out, despite the supplies being so little. I think that after this year, after the holiday season, as you start to see more Switches out there in the wild, companies are going to start porting their games or start making games more often for the Switch alongside the other consoles, because they'll go where the money is at. They'll go where the numbers of the people are at. That was the biggest problem with the Wii U. The biggest problem with it is that there wasn't a lot of Wii U's out there in the wild. So why spend all that money to port your third-party AAA game to the Wii U when you could already go to an established ecosystem like the Xbox One or the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 or the PlayStation 4? There are people that already own those consoles. There are already consoles out in the wild that are in the thousands, if not millions, out there, compared to right now where the Switch just came out this past March, or this past spring, I should say. But that's going to change, and it's going to change with time. I mean, we already got some big third parties that are on the Switch library, or at least that they're coming to the Switch library, including stuff like Skyrim. There was even talk about Dark Souls already running on the Switch, so that could already be a thing. Yeah, FIFA. You might possibly have other games coming, was it from a lot of these other third parties like Square Enix? I know there's an RPG coming from them onto the Switch at one point that was talked about at the Switch event. You also got Dragon Quest. I mean, not Dragon Quest, Atlas with Shin Megami Tensei. The list goes on. And a lot of that's going to change over time. The online infrastructure is a totally different thing. It's a totally different beast and a totally different argument, because I've said it many times in the past. I've even written about it and I've talked about it on other podcasts that the online infrastructure for this is not good. Nintendo's never had really a solid online infrastructure, and they have every opportunity at this point to really kind of work on things and make it a little bit better and start to really compete, or at least come into their own alongside places like Xbox Live, like PlayStation Network or PlayStation Plus, etc.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about it is that Nintendo's never really had a good mindset for that. They make solid experiences, they make solid first-party games, and they make solid hardware, even though it's not the most powerful. They make great products out there. They just never really caught an eye or caught on to the whole online gaming thing, which they're only starting to get into now with games like Splatoon, with games like ARMS. If I'm not mistaken, ARMS is online too as well, right? Correct?
Yes,
I could be wrong.
Terrible. Just
Okay.
Oh my god.
But my point is like it's starting to get there. I mean, and again, you have games like Ultra Street Fighter 2, which isn't even really a Nintendo first party title, it's a third party title, but it is still a fighting game that's that germinating, that first kind of dip into that ecosystem or dip into that genre with the online infrastructure for Nintendo. Again, it's going to come with time. As far as the app stuff is concerned, I've always been a big critic of the online was it the app that you have to use in order to do voice chat. I always thought that was stupid. I always thought that it would have been smarter to have something built into the Switch dock itself in order to chat online with your own headset. There's probably a couple technical reasons why that isn't the case. I know there's far better people and far better places more qualified than me that have probably talked about that, but I still, like you and like many other people, I don't want to have to use my phone for voice chat, and let alone I don't want to have to use my phone, which is a device that could technically I could get a message or a phone call and then cut myself off from the game. I mean, it just doesn't work that way for me. It's not really that good. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people listening to this, and yourself as well, would agree that's not, the most ideal experience to have when you're playing online. You want to be able to have your headset plugged into your controller and just go right from there. So I don't know. That could also change too, leading into next year or the following year over time. Different things could go on depending on the response of people, as well as also as we start to get more Switches into the wild.
True that. Yeah, man. It's just that's like they really need to do that, man. They really need to fix that, because it's an abomination, man. Like you saw the whole Splatoon headset configuration, like all these cords and everything. I'm like, oh god, this is a hot mess.
It's not appealing. It just doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good. I'm like, okay, you see my headphone right now? How about Nintendo? If you're watching, they watch my channel, so I'm not gonna say that they don't watch my channel, because they watch. I just got an email from them today. Oh, we watch your videos. I know you do. This is it right here, and I should just be able to do this. This is all it takes right here. Just one cord, go into the headphone. And literally, when they first showed off the Switch, when they first had the reveal and everything, oh, yes, we're going to talk about Hellblade. We're going to talk about, oh, you just wait, guys. Wait. If y'all have any questions or anything, feel free to leave it in the comment section down below. But, yes, we're going to talk about Hellblade for sure. But, yeah, just real simple, just one cord. Plug it into the top of the Switch, and voila, it's over with. But we're just gonna have to wait and see. They're not fully launching their online until I believe next year. So once they start charging, it's going to be very interesting to see how much better the online infrastructure is going to be moving forward. But what's up to everybody in the comments? Feel free to hit the like button, share this around, guys. Let's get some more people in the conversation in the comments here. If you have any questions for us or whatever, feel free to drop it in there. So the next topic that we're going to talk about here is PlayStation 4 firmware update 5.0 will add, now this is brilliant stuff right here, 1080p 60 frames per second Twitch streaming for pro users. Keyword pro users. Okay, so if you don't have a pro, then sorry, you're gonna be left out with this. But I think this is really, really dope for people who actually stream on Twitch. And so basically, they're gonna include overall to the console's master and sub account systems, the ability to follow any user, and the addition of notifications to the quick menu. So, and also you can already play in 1080p with remote play. So that's really good there that they're actually, giving that 1080p 60 frames per second to Twitch. What's your thoughts on that, Jay?
I mean, I think that's fine. It's good for people that don't normally stream on Twitch or don't already know the craft of streaming on Twitch or on YouTube, because most people that do like stream regularly and have like audiences and are constantly on the platform aren't going to stream through their console. They're going to go through their PC. They're going to go through their laptop, their computer. It's the same thing and the same argument that I say with platforms like Mixer that's over on the Xbox One platform, through Xbox Live. It's the same thing. This is more convenient for the people that just don't know a lot about streaming and don't know a lot about being able to stream and how to go about it and generating that audience, just for them to do it a lot easier. And that'll be cool because it'll be a great way that's, simple and more streamlined to share clips, to share great moments, and just, overall just have just a simple stream that's not as complex.
True that. You have a valid point there, man. I think that's what a lot of people is going to do. But it's kind of nice to have that feature on your PlayStation or on your Xbox there. So here goes the big opinion piece now. As I know, a lot of people don't know about opinion pieces. That's a journalist term that we use. Well, here's the big thing. Is the Xbox One X a better bet than the PlayStation 4 Pro? If you're talking about performance wise, I would say the Pro performs better as far from a technical standpoint, because the Xbox One X, I feel like, is a joke, because Microsoft lied to us on stage and they were like, hey, there's no power greater than X, right? They're simply meaning that it's the most powerful console out right now. And it's equivalent to you it's equivalent to like a regular PC or regular like $500 bill 4K PC that you can bill for $500. But just the other day, the developers of was it Killing Floor 2, they were actually doing some tests on the Xbox One X, and they were saying that they were having problems running the game at 4K. At 4K, I believe 30 frames, it was having a bunch of hiccups, and so they had to drop it to I think 1080p or lower. So it's like all this stuff about 4K, 60 frames per second. It's a lie, bro. Like, it's just like I don't know why these companies, they just come out on stage and they lie to us. And then when it comes down to the nitty gritty part of the developers getting a hold of the consoles and actually start like developing the game from the ground up. And when you have such a performance system like that out there, like that's the Lamborghini, and the PS4 Pro is like a Tesla. You see what I'm saying? It's like, there's no way that Tesla is going to catch that Lamborghini because it has more horsepower. But a lot of times more horsepower can just simply means, hey, nothing, right? So I feel like overall the PlayStation 4, even though it's not true 4K, and supposedly the Xbox One X is a true 4K system, I still feel like the PS4 Pro still come out on top as far as quality and stability, in my opinion. So I would say the PS4 Pro would take the torch as far as that is concerned. But as far as under the hood power, I would say, yeah, the Xbox One X definitely have more power, but performance as far as the games, I feel like, I don't know, the PS4 Pro have that win. What's your thoughts on that, man?
Well, I'm not necessarily sure we're able to actually come up with that conclusion yet, because obviously the console's not out yet, and the console's not out in the market, and we can't really get a good idea without the games in our hands and actually tangibly, be able to play them. I did see the Xbox One X when I was at E3. I did get to see some of the games running on Xbox One X hardware that was there, not necessarily the units themselves, because they did have the unit on display, but obviously, you've been E3, they have the different units running with the monitors, and they have the guts below the curtains and stuff. So it's probably PCs, but running with similar specs and hardware for the games. The thing is that I don't think that they're necessarily lying. I don't think that they were necessarily lying on stage. I wouldn't go as far as to say that. What I will say is that all that power and all that resource that console is going to offer is going to be useless unless they could do something interesting with the games. They need to be able to wow me and present to me a better argument than what I already have available to me right now. Not just with the PlayStation 4 Pro, but just even with the Xbox One S and the Xbox One original, even the original PlayStation 4. What other things can the Xbox One X do for my gaming experience besides make it more shiny, besides make the picture quality much more bigger and much more detailed? What is it about these games that are going to make me want to buy this console that I am not going to get on the other consoles besides an already nicer picture? That was my argument even before I went to E3 this year when I saw the Xbox One X, before I went to the Xbox conference this year. That was a question that I felt I kept asking, and I didn't even really get that much of an answer to it, other than there's a lot of great games coming. I mean, games that look like that they'll be able to answer that more, more so, as soon as they release, are games like Crackdown 3. But even then, I think that, there could still be an argument made that, like, that's not nothing new now that this console generation already hasn't done at this point, or can already do now without the Xbox One X. There needs to be other stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the pretty looks and the visual fidelity of these games is not phenomenal. Take one look at Ori and the Will of the Wisp. That's a beautiful game from what I see already. Just, Ori and the Blind Forest is one of my favorite Xbox games. It's just a gorgeous game. But my point is that there's still some eye candy and there's still some great things to appreciate there. It's just I want to be able to see something different. I want to be able to see something more that makes owning this console all the more justifiable. And I still haven't gone that yet, but hopefully by the time it releases, I'll have a better answer by then.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you brought that topic up, because what's up, JC? I love the fact that you brought that topic up, because there's no games. Like Xbox, they're like at the bottom of the food chain right now. It's all about PlayStation and Nintendo Switch. So
well, you gotta understand, they have games there, okay, but they don't have a lot of exclusives like the other platforms. That's the thing that people get caught up on, because there's still third-party games and there's still other phenomenal games coming to the Xbox One platform, and we've had some exclusives recently. I mean, we've had not too long ago, like at the ending of last year, we had Gears of War 4. We've had We've had Halo Wars 2. Halo Wars 2 came out not too long ago. We're getting games like Crackdown 3 eventually. We're getting games like Anthem, apparently on Xbox One X, even though that's multi-platform. Ori and the Will of the Wisp, and other games out there. So there are games there. But the thing is that people mistake that with is that there's not enough big-time exclusives that are making a big splash right now. That's what's making this year so special for PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch. It's that alone.
Yeah, because there's no exclusives, and that's my whole thing. You come. What's up? What's going on, man? Yeah, that's James. Yeah. That's James talking. My whole thing is that you coming on stage, you talked about all these components and power, how powerful the system is. Then you showed us Forza 7. Then you showed us a bunch of indie stuff. Then you showed us supposedly all these games that were supposed to be exclusive to Xbox One, but they were coming to Windows. And my whole thing is that's not exclusive. That's not exclusive.
That's not console exclusive. That's not console exclusive. Yeah, that's ecosystem exclusive. That's what
exactly. And my whole thing is like, what's the point? Like what's the point of me buying an Xbox One X or buying an Xbox if I cannot get these console exclusive games on there. Like if that's the case, I might as well just play all the stuff on my PC, because almost everything that they showed us at E3 was on Windows. And I'm like, this makes no sense. Like I might as well just play everything on my PC. You know, and so now everything is so streamlined now with Xbox and PC, and with the Xbox Play Anywhere stuff, the Netflix kind of thing that they have going on. And it's just, everything just seems like, okay, I might as well just play everything. Like literally right now, my Xbox One is in my trash bag under my bed. Like I don't play my Xbox One. Like there's literally nothing to play. Yeah, Crackdown 3. Oh, okay, cool. Been there, done that. Play Crackdown. Give me something new. Give me something fresh. Like I'm tired of Gears, tired of Halo. I'm tired of Forza. Okay, Sea of Thieves. You know, like you're not giving us enough incentives to purchase an Xbox One X. What are the incentives right now to purchase an Xbox One X? Just power. Just like what I was going back to in the beginning. It's all about power. This hype about power, but it's not enough for me to spend $500 for existing games that can look a lot better, or playing sequels to games that are really not, just, you know what I mean? It's like not having me on my edge of my seat. Whereas PlayStation, they're really raising the bar, you know, with you know, first party stuff, third party stuff. They have the better third party stuff. Yes, the Xbox One X is going to make some of these third party games look better. But if it all comes down to content. And if the content is not, you know, good, like the DLC stuff or bonuses that PlayStation always be having, if it's not going to be on that tier, man, then it's like, I might as well just keep my old Xbox One and just hope that Microsoft get it together and start making some good, fresh new IPs that we come to know and love. I mean, that's really where it's at for me as far as the Xbox One X. And by the way, they're having issues right now with pre-orders for that particular title. I mean, for that particular system. So we're just gonna have to wait and see, man. Like you said, we just got to get it in our hands and see. But me personally, they send it to me, cool, but I'm not gonna spend $500 on that. That's me wasting my money and time. I might as well just play everything on my PC. So what's going on, everybody in the chat? Welcome to the podcast. We are talking about video games, of course. The title is Let's Talk Gaming. So if y'all have anything y'all want to talk about, feel free to drop it in the comment section there. And so let's move along here. Hellblade, the $29 Ninja Theory. Now, remember Ninja Theory way back in the day, right? With Heavenly Sword. Man, I wanted a Heavenly Sword too so bad. Now, Hellblade looks incredible. But for some reason, this guy named Jim Sterling, I believe, he pulls some kind of...
We also have to recognize him as Jim effing Sterling.
JJ, you funny. Like, from what I understand, this is the word on the street. What's going on, Block 20? Word on the street is that he was playing the game, and I'm guessing he got to a part of the game where he was supposed to grab an item or grab something in order to progress. And so he got frustrated with the game and he couldn't pass it. And so he gave the game a 1 out of 10. This is the kind of stuff. I didn't hear this. Yes. Yes, bro. Yes. This is the kind of stuff that we have going on in our industry, that if you are a big name like Polygon or IGN or GameSpot or any of those guys that works for those companies, people are going to listen to you in order to make a purchase. Like, I literally don't watch reviews to make a purchase. If I'm feeling a game like that, I'll play it. But I play everything because I'm a gamer. But at the same time, you have a lot of people that look up to IGN or look up to Kotaku for reviews in order to make purchases. And you given a game, because his review actually made it to the Metacritic thing or whatever, and people are like, 1 out of 10? Like, that's not even a 1 out of 10, dude. Is like that's horrible. Like, that you basically saying like this game is not even worth picking up. Like, just it's not even worth your penny. And Hellblade, like, the game, from what I understand, I haven't played it yet. I really would like to play it, but from what I've been hearing from reviews, they're saying that it's very linear, of course. The story is like really short, of course. It's $29, and you have to really be able to understand what's going on with the character, and hearing all these bunch of voices, no HUD, no, no meter, nothing at all. So you're just playing, and you have to rely on the voices in order to progress. And he gave the game a 1 out of 10. Now that's,
I just saw it now, and this is going to be one of those examples when Jim is very, very wrong, because Jim tends to be one of those reviewers and critics where he's an outlier, compared to the rest of the industry, and there's nothing wrong with that. He just has different opinions than everybody else, but I feel like in this one, he probably just didn't give it its due, and it could get easily, to be frustrated with a particular game. Everybody goes through it. You've gone through it. I've gone through it. It happens every once in a while. I don't think that makes Jim any less of a good critic or a good reviewer than what he already is, because he's been in the game already a while, and he's been reviewing a lot of games. So it's not like he doesn't know what he's talking about. So I at least I give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. At least hopefully with him, he goes back and he at least revisits it, because from my understanding from a lot of different places, Hellblade is getting a lot of critical praise, and it's getting a lot of critical praise. Plus it's a cheap AAA experience that's being put out there, that's being self-published by, I believe it was, the publisher of the game. I just blanked out now. Do you know who is it that published Hellblade?
Nah, Ninja Theory.
Okay, yeah. So Ninja Theory put it out themselves. This is interesting because if this works and it ends up selling a lot, especially with all the critical praise, you might start to see that trend start to happen a little bit more often leading into the end of 2017 into 2018, where publishers will take more risk on cheaper experiences that don't have a lot of weight or crazy IP attached to them and a lot of expectations put out there for cheaper titles that could hit success and make them some extra money. It's because one person that I was looking at on Twitter, and I think I even heard it on a video one time where they were mentioning something like that. I was like, something I could get behind that. That I would be totally cool with that if all of a sudden someone like Ninja Theory, someone like Platinum Games, someone like Square Enix or Capcom put out a game that's not necessarily an established IP, something new that's a little bit cheaper, but does something completely different and still offers that AAA experience. I'd be totally down with that.
That's true. Me too. I would be totally down with that. I realized that we got a guest here. Emmanuel, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up? What's up? Sorry, I just came a little bit late.
Oh man, no doubt, man. You ain't gotta explain nothing, man. I didn't realize you were in here. We were over here talking and stuff. I wasn't paying attention to the actual panel.
It's cool.
The topic.
I was just like, I was about to say, hey, I've been on the stream for 13 minutes. I haven't said a word, but I hear you guys out. I hear you guys out on Hellblade. It seems like he needs to put more time into it. You cannot just judge a game so rapidly because you couldn't beat it. It's just that, can someone just help him throughout that glitch, and then he could experience more of the game? Then it'll be more understanding for the other people to get an honest review. Because why are you going to give someone a 1 out of 10 if it's if you pass the glitch? It could be a 10 out of 10, or it could be at least an 8.5. We all know how Sterling is.
Yeah, but we all know how.
Here's a counterpoint to that. Here's the thing that actually happened not too long ago in relation that's similar to this. You guys remember when the reviews for Prey 2 came out not too long ago?
Yeah.
IGN, they ended up scoring, and Dan Stapleton ended up scoring, I believe it was about a 4 or 5 out of 10. It was a lower score than what he ultimately at the final point gave it, because he ran into a game-breaking glitch, like a game-breaking bug that just totally just put everything to a screeching halt, to a brick wall. Things like that happen, and whether, at least in Prey's case, they had it where the devs actually had to put out a patch in order to change things up, so obviously the score ended up changing for them. But things like that do happen in the industry, and you can't really begrudge someone for their own personal experience when that happens, especially when it's someone that's reviewed games for such a long time. It's different when someone's just out there and they're not going about it in a way where they're really giving due diligence to the game. That does happen, but you can't just ignore the fact that sometimes there are those freak of nature incidents where all of a sudden, just like, again, a game like Amy. I don't know if you guys have ever played Amy. It's like a really bad survival horror game from back in the day where the experience is just so horrid and it has so many game-breaking bugs, or at least it has something where you can't advance the game beyond a certain point. That's just like at that point, it's like you have to call a spade a spade. But again, with Sterling's case here, you know, it seems to be more the case where he just got openly frustrated with just one aspect of it. It didn't seem like it was a bug or anything. So like I said, he'll probably go back and change that score up if he hasn't already.
Yeah, this is my whole thing. Like, I'm like, you have people in the industry right now, just being a journalist myself and getting games in early. You have a lot of people who don't even play the game, bro. You have a lot of people who just make reviews for these games and they haven't even played the game. And they're like, oh, this is my review. And they're like, hey, you know, I've seen it happen with IGN in the past. I've seen it happen with major websites. You know what I mean? I forgot what website it was where the guy mistaken Uncharted 4 for Uncharted 3. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, that was at a Tokyo Game Show preview. I remember when that came out in the news that everybody made a big deal about it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like people just like playing games and not beating them, or they don't play the game at all and they're like, oh, this is my review, this is the score I'm giving the game. And when you listen to the review or when you read the review, you're like, wait, are you playing the same game that I'm playing, or did you play, you know? It's like, what are you doing, you know? And so I feel like there's a lot of controversy around Hellblade. It looks good, it looks really, really good, and you just have to, it's not an everybody game. You know what I mean? It have some similarities with Horizon Zero Dawn, but it's very linear. It's very dark, and you really have to, you know, have the mindset for that kind of game. And so I feel like even if I'm frustrated with a game, like back in the day, PS2 days, I don't really break controllers anymore. But back in the day, I would just take controllers, man, and just throw them, like just out of frustration, like playing Ninja Gaiden or playing Onimusha. You know, games like that was like really, really hard. And so yeah, man, it was just a crazy experience back then. But even then, I still played through the difficulty. I still played through, you know, whatever it is that was kind of holding me back. But I guess everybody's different. But I would say support Ninja Theory. It's been a minute since I saw a Ninja Theory game. And I feel like if everybody just stay positive in this industry, man, and support everything that these creators come out with, I feel like it will just, it will go back in the industry, and it will also make the industry better. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of these higher up people, they abuse authority. They really do, you know, and they just take things out of context. That's just my whole take about the whole Hellblade thing. But I'm definitely going to be playing it on the channel and see about it, and just go from there. Emmanuel, you have anything else on Hellblade real quick before we go?
Honestly, I don't. I have my own opinion on it. It's just, I won't judge the game due to not having playing it for as much, because, you know, life, school, everything has been going on. But once it comes out again, I'll and probably put down a few games down to play Hellblade. But for now, I'm not gonna give it the 1 out of 10 for sure. I've been seeing reviews off of it. It seems good to me. It catches my interest, and it's like you said, it's not those games that it just says, oh, it's 1 out of 10. It must be a bad game. I'm gonna buy it because it's lately been catching interest, not just because for me. It's also been catching interest because of my friends. They've been mentioning about it in my other group chats. They're like, oh, Hellblade's coming back. So I'm like, okay, I might bring it back in. So for now, I'm just gonna focus on repurchasing it. Because I can repurchase.
Yeah. DFG was telling you what's up, Emmanuel. Pep, what's going on, man? But yeah, man, that's just my whole take on that, man. It's just it's ridiculous when things like that happens in the industry. All right, so this is gonna be a big topic here that my man JJ, please go check out his channel. It's Gamers with Gains. Go check him out. But he actually made a video talking about this, and I was gonna make a video talking about this, but I got crowdedly busy with a whole lot of stuff. So this is another person that, you know, is affiliated with the industry that we come to know and love, and it's Nick Robertson from Polygon is involved in a sexual harassment allegation, and apparently he's suspended. And I honestly think like he should be fired, honestly, for doing something like that. But we don't really know all the details, but this is what surfaced up, and this is what we're hearing right now. And it's like, that's kind of crazy to me that you would, you're so big, and you're writing for a big website and everything like that, and it's like, why? You know what I mean? Like, why would you get yourself involved with such a very touchy, or not even just touchy, but a very delicate situation like that? Risking your job, risking all your hard work, blood, sweat, and tears go down the drain for something like this. You know what I mean? And not only that, he put it out like tweets back in the day, like about certain game characters and how he feels about certain game characters and things like that, and what he will do to certain characters. And I'm like, this guy is really, really crazy. But I feel like if I was in his shoes and have that sort of popularity writing for a big website like Polygon, like I would never like really associate myself with something like this. Like, this will just ruin your credibility and just destroy everything that you work for. So I know JJ will kind of better address the situation a lot better than I am, but I feel like this is wrong all the way. Like, this is just a no-brainer. Like, you're not 5 or 4 where you can't fend for yourself. Like, you know exactly what you're getting yourself into, so why do it? JJ, and then we're gonna go to Emmanuel.
So there's a couple things about this. I think that your reaction and your thoughts now is very indicative of a lot of people upon first hearing about this. But we all got to understand something, and we all got to understand this very clearly. And it's something that we suffer a lot from in our industry, just the games industry specifically, is that we're very quick to knee-jerk react to a lot of stuff. We're very, very quick to jump the gun. And immediately when we hear about certain stuff, especially topics like this or anything involving, like, obviously harassment, harassment of women in the games industry, things of the similar sort now these days over the last few years, a lot of people, mass amounts of people tend to immediately start to swarm like a bunch of bees and stuff. And the reason being is because they feel strongly about it. And I can understand that. But before anybody kind of passes judgment, and before anybody passes, any sort of sentence, or just the way, opinions out there, you have to hear the full story, and you have to hear the full details about everything. Now, don't get me wrong. Let's be real for a second. A lot of stuff that's been coming out about Nick Robinson has been pretty bad. Now, full disclosure, I know Nick Robinson. I've actually met him a few times, both at E3 and at other gaming industry events. I've actually, talked with him on and off here and there. We're not buddy or anything of the sort. We're not friends like that, but we're colleagues, like how me and you are colleagues, but we're all professional colleagues in the industry. So I've met him in person. Now, granted, okay, a lot of the info that's been coming out, a lot of it seems to be very circumstance and speculatory, because the biggest problem that I see, and it's understandable because of how the game industry is, especially on social media, is that there isn't a lot of like concrete proof or concrete details and concrete smoking gun, quote unquote, about what's being said about Nick Robinson. Because for all we know, a lot of this could be very greatly exaggerated, and we could have just immediately just destroyed a guy's life. Now, I'm not saying that's the case. I'm not going to go and take sides on all this, but I am a realist, and I do have to recognize, like, this type of stuff does happen. Look what happened to Colin Moriarty over a joke, and that type of like reaction that he got over a dad joke, and just the way that other people reacted to him, colleagues of his and stuff. Things like that do happen. With this one, where I feel like there seems to be a lot of stuff that's been going down, and a lot of like weight, a lot of credibility to what's been said, is because not only did the guys over at Polygon suspend Nick, and they have two reasons to suspend him. One, they have to do so because they have to pen an investigation to actually look up all the stuff that's been going down, and two, because there might be stuff that we just don't know about that they might have found out, talking to all parties involved, which is what usually goes on behind the scenes with big companies when something like this happens. You have to talk to everybody involved, and there needs to be concrete proof when you actually present this type of accusation towards someone, especially somebody that's out in the public spotlight, especially that's someone that's been around for a while with a particular company. One of the things I do not like, and I don't think it's right for a lot of people, is not only to hound others for receipts, which is like the term that's being thrown around, or hound people for proof, but also I don't like the way that some people that they claim to have been involved with some stuff start to kind of like indirectly hint and talk very vaguely about stuff out in the public eye. to me, I'm like, listen, if there's something wrong, if there's something that's big and there's something that's very, that's very serious, instead of making snide remarks on Twitter, instead of making snide remarks out there in the public spotlight, go to the people you're supposed to go talk to and actually rectify the problem and actually deal with the problem. Go talk to the people at Polygon. Go talk to whatever legal counsel you have to do. I don't think that making remarks on Twitter, like I've seen from a lot of different people that seem to be involved one way or another, is really helping the situation whatsoever. Because especially if it comes out that it's not the case like that, look what you've done to a person's reputation. Okay, if it ends up being not true, if it is, then it is what it is. But my point is that rather than put that energy out there like that, put the energy into actually going and actually making, whatever the problem is, get settled or get, figured out. Go bring whatever proof it is that you have about these accusations to the right people that you're supposed to talk to, rather than just putting it out there for spotlight. Because sometimes it just comes out like that. It might not be the motivation for some people, but it does come out there like that. Harassment, sexual harassment, especially sexual harassment of women or anybody else, is a very serious issue. But sometimes I think a lot of people out there, not myself and not anybody here on this panel, but there are people out there that look at this in the ether and they're like, yo, I mean, with all these other stories about people loosely throwing it around out there sometimes and then not having specific proof or not having specific conclusions or real solid conclusions to all this stuff that's going on, it makes it a little bit harder to believe when somebody just throws it out there like that for some people. Again, like I said, get it settled up. And it seems like, some of them are actually doing so, but like hopefully within the next week or two, we actually get some clarity about it. We actually get some concrete, solutions and conclusions to everything. And then we could all just move on.
Right. Yeah, man. Powerful stuff there. Hi, Emmanuel. Anything that you want to share about this kind of allegations, man? This is like serious.
I'll probably just say that it's that they should put them into, I want to say suspension, leave without pay until we get the situation settled. So until we get the story down, that's where we get it's, and if we get shown proof, and if it is proven, because honestly I haven't caught up with the case, but I'm just catching on the information with you guys. It just seems like we need to get more in depth to the situation. Like if there's a situation going on, we should catch up to it and also put a lawsuit on him if there's proven true, and actually get him fired.
True, because that's making them look bad. You know what I mean? In the end,
because
if there's foul play. There's
Yeah.
foul play, because you can't just do that when somebody just throws an accusation out there. That was my point, like that,
Sure.
and that's what you usually see a lot of most of the time, with different people. And sometimes people that actually never did anything wrong get punished or get a lot of their lives or their career ruined because someone was just vindictive or for one reason or another.
True.
And that just undermines the actual situations that do have someone actually being hurt by people like that, and it makes everything a lot more worse than what it actually is.
True. That's true, man. That's facts right there. You know what I mean? Because you just never know. And the same thing that's going on with, I know this is kind of off topic, but the same thing going on with Usher right now. People are saying that, he got herpes and he got this and he got that. And, he's a celebrity.
The girl was lying, and the girl came out that she was lying.
Wow.
That's my point. That's the thing. Like, there needs to be people when stuff has actually happened, you have to deal with that, and you have to find out all the facts, behind closed doors and deal with that situation right then and there.
True. Yeah. Get the facts before you start, accusing people and things like that. So I agree with that, because people will always try to, mess you up. All right. So moving along here. Shadow of War. Now, I was a huge fan, and I'm still a huge fan of this game. The original Shadow of Mordor game or whatever. What's going on, Benz? So apparently this game is going to have loot boxes and more microtransactions. And I despise microtransactions in video games. I feel like it's a huge ripoff. I feel like, I don't feel like the place of microtransaction. It's like, I get it, it's for them to make more money and things like that. But loot boxes, like, what is this, Overwatch? Like, I mean, I'm not understanding that, and I understand that It's not something to do with the story mode part of the game. It's just like, you know, you grinding and getting better weapons and this and that, and it's supposed to be optional, but it's getting really annoying now. Because some games, you know, you do have to do the microtransactions in order to get certain incentives in order for you to progress through the game. Just like with Nintendo, which, I mean, like, for the longest time, Nintendo wasn't doing this whole DLC thing. They did it with Zelda. Okay, cool. We understand. Zelda, you know, is that game that, you know, y'all gonna constantly have, you know, what you call it, content, you know, coming back and forth or whatever. But with Metroid, you know, Samus Returns, that game coming out for the 3DS, you know, they put a paywall on the amiibo, so you have to literally buy the amiibo in order to get this extra level, and you have to spend like $25, I believe, just for that amiibo, just to get that extra story level so you can actually play it. So I feel like, you know, I don't know, it's I just
That's
don't.
not actually true, believe it or not. That's not actually the case. Is that with the amiibo from Metroid, you have to get, I think it's the Metroid Samus Returns amiibo that allows you to get the Metroid mode that allows you to help find the Metroids while you're going around the game. All the other stuff, like the extra hard mode and stuff, that's available in game once you beat it. That's still in the game already, and you don't need the amiibo for that.
Oh, wow. But it's like, I feel like, I just feel like, you know, a lot of companies are doing that now. Like, you know, first it was PlayStation, Xbox, you know, everybody, Activision, all the companies doing the microtransact. Actually, EA was one of the main ones that actually started this downloadable content stuff. And then, you know, everybody else start jumping on the bandwagon with it. And I feel like now it's just, it's ridiculous. Like, you know, you buy a game for $60, but you're really not going to be spending $60. You're really going to be spending maybe $100 to $200. Because remember with what you call it? What was that game? Good Lord. With Call of Duty. Remember Call of Duty back in the day with the Call of Duty Elite? They had all these extra stuff going on, and I'm like, wow, like you spend $60 and you have
people
to.
will buy it. People will buy that.
Good Lord.
You know, if you really
With Call of
put
Duty.
it out
Remember
there.
Call of Duty back in the day with the Call. Hello?
Yeah, I'm saying.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a minute, what happened? Yeah,
No, I was saying like the people will buy stuff like that, and they'll buy into those microtransactions. You know, for any other game out there, if it's something interesting to them, and the companies will still keep providing it if it works, if it makes them money. So the problem is though, is that this is a business model, and this is part of the industry that's evolving, and it's going to continue to linger around despite how many people might dislike it. I mean, the thing about it with the Shadows of War DLC stuff with the microtransactions is that, granted, those are like mostly stuff for single player content, you know, that's going to affect one's individual game. It's really only going to affect the people that put an extra value on that. Like, if you want to get through a lot of those different things a little bit more quickly, or you want to earn things more quickly, that option is there for you. It's not forcing you to actually do that. It's not like it's putting certain content behind the paywall. If you don't, purchase those microtransactions, you can't get to this particular point. It's not like that. And obviously, I think not only do the consumers know, but also the people that are making the games know that that wouldn't be a good look for them if they did something like that. So they're finding different ways to offer you extra options for your game, even though you're still going to get that core gameplay experience there. So besides your $60 that you're giving them, if you want those extra other things and you want to just get even more out of your game, you still have the option to pay more and give them more money to at least get more enjoyment out of it. It's not like it's something that's there for you to help them get more resources that isn't predatory.
Yeah, that's a valid thing, you know, but I just feel like now it's just, oh boy, Emmanuel.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on microtransactions and with this Shadow of War with the loot boxes and stuff?
Honestly, I would not have me personally, I would not have a situation with this, because me just being, I would kind of think about it like this. They're like versions of how we all felt for the amiibos. It just seems like they're microtransactions, they're $12, and they seem like whatever. We all kind of spent your little small bucks on, people spend on like how they do it on Overwatch, and we spend it in our own ways. But to me personally, it would, if you love the game that much, it would be okay. But just let's think about it like this. How I would think about it is like paying like $5 for 10 snails on sea snails on Splatoon. There's people that are willing to pay for that much money for them sea snails, right? But I would in a certain level, but there's people out there who spend so much money onto it, but it just depends on the person. I personally wouldn't mind it if I don't have a problem with it. Some people do have a problem. I don't.
Right. That's good. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I just feel like, man, it's really really annoying. What is that?
In the days.
Okay. Yeah, I'll set it up for you in a minute. Yeah, I just feel like, you know, it's getting to the point where it's like, yeah. All right. Okay. 1 second, guys. All right. All right. Sorry about that, guys. That was my dad. Anyway, so yeah, I just feel like, you know, like I don't know. Yo, like DLC, man, has come a far way, and now it's like people, you know, are still supporting it. So hey, it's all good. I guess we just gonna keep buying into all this stuff. You know, we just keep buying into it, and you know, eventually when people vote with their wallet, then they'll stop eventually. Um, okay, next topic real fast is Sonic Forces reduced price is $40. Um, now this comes as no surprise to me. Sonic Forces definitely looks great. Definitely can't wait to play it. I'm a huge Sonic fan myself. And Sonic, I can't tell you the last time we actually had a good Sonic game, because Sonic Boom was garbage. And I know a lot of people would agree on that. But Sonic Forces definitely looks good. And we have Sonic Mania coming out on the 15th. So they reduced the price to $40, which I think is fair, because honestly, I wouldn't spend $60 on a Sonic game. But I feel like what they're going to do is they're going to have the price at $40, and then they're going to kill you with DLC. So it's like basically everything evens out itself, because they can just drive a game for 40 and then kill you with $20 DLC. You see what I'm saying? Or, you know, give you endless DLC and people will buy it. So you wind up spending $100, maybe $150 on the game. You know what I mean? That's where my whole take on this whole reduced price for $40. JJ, anything on that?
Honestly, I mean, again, it's fine. I mean, I really care more about Sonic Mania than I do about Sonic Forces, to be honest with you. It's just the style of game, and I'm more impressed about what Sonic Mania is doing rather than Sonic Forces. Because Sonic Forces, from day one when we first saw it, it immediately just had the same type of vibe that I got from Sonic Generations. That's how everybody felt. But not just because of new and classic Sonic being implemented into it. Just the visual style of everything. It spoke more to that style of game, and so that people that enjoyed that style of game. So most of the Sonic fans that are out there are really going to be just caring about Sonic Mania. That's the game that they've really been waiting for, and I feel like that's going to be the one that makes the bigger splash. So maybe Sega knows that. Sega knows that they're probably not going to get a huge splash of people jumping into Sonic Forces over Sonic Mania. Or again, like you said, it could be DLC stuff. Who knows at this point? But that's where I'm at right now for it.
Emmanuel?
Well, me personally, I would choose. You guys choosing Sonic Mania, Sonic Forces. We all got opinions here. I'm gonna go straight for Sonic Riders. Bring back Sonic Riders. That's the game. I don't know for you guys, but for me, was kind of the game to go to. I know which is like brings. We're all talking about the classics. We're bringing the old school to the new school, but I jumped. First time I ever played a Sonic game was Sonic Riders, and it's like when you first touch a game, of like Sonic, you're hooked on that specific game. Because if you play the first one, you're hooked on the first one, like, and that will be a forever loved one. But for me, it was Sonic Riders, and I have played the original one before, and it just seems like it's great. It's one great game. I'm not gonna lie, it's one hell of a game. I love it, but it's just not my type of game. I'm more of a Nintendo person. I won't say, oh, if it's not Nintendo, it's not my thing. It's more like if it catches my eye, it catches my eye. If not, then it doesn't.
I like that. I like that. Honestly, I'm excited about both Sonic games, Sonic Mania and Sonic Forces. Now, Sonic 06 being the worst one in my book out of all the Sonic games I've ever played in my life, Sonic 06 and Sonic Boom was straight garbage. Like, just terrible. You know what I mean? But Sonic Forces definitely looks good. It have so many different gameplay elements of different Sonic games. But yeah, I'm excited about that. And Mania coming out on the 15th, I believe, on the 15th. Yeah, and it's only $20. So that's definitely a pickup for retro Sonic fans. I think that's going to be huge, man, you know, on that particular platform, you know, whichever platform you pick it up on. But yeah, so excited about that. So I don't know how many of you guys picked up ARMS, but apparently through data mining, they unveiled 9 new fighters for the game. So 9 new fighters that's supposedly coming out maybe through DLC or just, you know, they're going to release it for free. But that's really cool to hear that because ARMS, I kind of enjoyed it when it first came out. I haven't played it in a while, but I feel like that game could really use more stages and more fighters for real. Most definitely. There's a lot of lag with the punches and stuff like that. Like, you know, when you try to make like a direct punch, I feel like there's a lag there. Like, you know, I think they try to fix it, but I feel like it's still there with the delays and stuff. But they definitely need more combinations, like more combos and things like that. And 9 new fighters, guys. I mean, this is really good. You know, this will definitely add a lot of replay value to the game. So, any thoughts on the 9 new discovered characters for the game? Anybody can jump on this.
No, I really have no opinions. Again, because I don't own a copy of that just yet, at least at this point. So not really much I could say.
Oh, okay. What, Emmanuel?
Same here. It's
okay.
Man, I'm sorry, man. I'm
Oh no, you good? You good, man?
I'm still falling behind. I just got back into I got back into the gaming world since back in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
I was just I'm fast and quick as possible because since I graduated from
Wait a minute, I think we lost him there. Give him time to come back. But yeah, you know, yeah, JJ, whenever you get a chance, you know, jump on that ARMS, man. It's a very good concept. And I definitely can't wait to you know, see, you know, more about the characters and things like that. Oh yeah, what's your opinion on Splatfest being rigged? Man,
oh my god, don't get me started. Don't get me started on that.
Go ahead, man. I'm gonna get you started today.
Right, I'm gonna have to go on full visual camera mode on this one. But I'm gonna get up close and personal with y'all.
Oh,
we played well. I was Team Mayo.
Oh wow. Like I don't know. Like that I'm not even gonna talk about that because that was ridiculous. Like this whole ketchup and mayo thing was just made me laugh. The whole concept.
Yes, I saw it coming up. Coming up, I saw everyone's waifu was Marina. She's my waifu. but the only situation was that players were there. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not calling myself the best player in the world either. But almost every game I played with catch-up team, catch up to them very fast.
Oh wow.
It seemed like very. I don't want to say competitive, but it was competitive. I'm not gonna lie. There's like a few matches I have lost, but it just seemed like so weird. But I could kind of see why we won because almost every match I played, I've kind of won. And well, my team won.
Oh, nice.
And if they, because it was I think it was 72 over, no, 27 over 70 something. They should have put more effort. I think people just voted for Marina and did not play the game.
Of course. Yeah, it's crazy, man. The whole thing was just rigged, and I was like, oh my God, like, wow. But that's Splatoon for you, right? The last topic that we got one more topic after this, and it's gonna be really short because I know JJ gotta go. The last topic after this one, but the first one that we're gonna talk about is The Last of Us 2. Now I can't wait for this game to come out. I'm a huge Last of Us fan. And man, The Last of Us 2 is not in full production yet. And I know when they showed us the trailer at PlayStation, Experience back in 2006, man, I was just hyped. I was going crazy. I was like, oh my God, Last of Us 2. And they showed off Ellie and Joel. I guess a lot of people are saying that he's dead, just by the way how the camera was on him and everything like that. But they're saying that the developers went straight into Uncharted 4. After Uncharted 4, they jumped right off into the Lost Legacy. And so basically they don't really have time to really kind of work on the game. Now they're in the beginning stages of the game. Right now, they're doing like post-production stuff, and they're doing, some motion cap and doing some drawings and some things like that. So pretty bone dry stuff. So right now, if I should really guess an estimate on when this game is coming out, I would say 2020, possibly 2020, maybe 2021. But I don't see it coming out next year or 2019. I feel like it's going to be a rush job. But I'm excited for this game. Like, I cannot wait. So any Last of Us 2 in this podcast, Last of Us 2 fan in this podcast, JJ or Emmanuel?
Well, yeah, I mean, I like The Last of Us. I think that's pretty dope. I can't wait to play the second one eventually when it comes out. Let them take all the time that they need. I mean, it's going to be a special game, and there's plenty to play right now. So there's no harm in waiting a bit.
Cool. Yeah, most definitely. I definitely can't wait for it, man. Like I said before, it's one of those games that I really hold special to my heart as far as like the story and how they, the world and everything will just come to life and everything like that. So definitely can't wait for it. It's early in production. So yeah, I would say another 2-3 years before it comes out. Exion Verge is launching on the Switch on the 17th of October. So that's another big indie game there that's coming to the Nintendo Switch. Have you ever heard of that game before, JJ?
Say that again. You broke up a little bit.
Was it XCOM Verge? Is coming.
No, never heard of it.
Oh, okay. It's another big indie game supposedly coming to the Switch. So, all right, guys, that wraps up the podcast. This is episode 6 of Let's Talk Gaming. I want to give a special shout out to Emmanuel, aka Mango, for coming through, and also want to give a special thanks and shout out to my main man JJ, aka Gamers with Gains. Go check him out. Go subscribe to him. He also writes for IGN and all that. So I'm gonna blah blah blah. I'm gonna let him go ahead and close out, and then we're just gonna go ahead and end everything from there. JJ, go ahead,
Yeah,
man.
sure.
The floor is yours, man.
Yeah, sure. I appreciate it. Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at VenomousFatman1 on Twitter. I'll put it like in the chat, just so you guys could check it out as far as like the spelling for everything. But it's VenomousFatman1. Was it on Twitter? That's basically where I usually post up. All my stuff on there. I'm also on YouTube on Gamers with Gains channel. It's where I usually do daily vlogs and daily videos on gaming news, on different stuff, and a whole bunch of other cool content that I post up. I also did recently something you might get a kick out of, Marlon. I actually wrote a 2-page feature for Nintendo Switch magazine, or Nintendo Switch Player magazine, where I talked about Star Fox that came out at issue number 5 this past month. So you might want to check that out. I don't know if you read that magazine, but it's fan funded. It's actually pretty dope. They asked me to write a feature. I might be doing another one for them at some point on something different. So that'll be interesting. You can find me on IGN. I write guides for IGN as a freelancer. I just finished a guide for the game Pyre from Supergiant, and I also wrote the guide for Crash Bandicoot: The Insane Trilogy. All 3 games. I did full playthroughs of all 3 Crash Bandicoot games on there for IGN, and I have a whole guide on there that you guys can enjoy. And then finally, you guys can find me on the Coalition. That's where I usually post up most of my written reviews, all my unboxing videos that I do, all my gameplay videos, my Let's Plays, all the interviews I've been doing. I actually started a brand new series this week where I actually did an interview with Godfrey from Gamertag Radio. It's part of my TK Spotlight series where I'm interviewing and talking to a bunch of industry professionals and phenomenal individuals that are part of the games industry that have done a lot of good for people. You guys definitely should check it out. I highly recommend it. It's like a 20-25 minute discussion we have. And I have a cool announcement that very soon, probably the 2nd or 3rd episode, one of them is going to be Andrea Renee from
nice.
What's Good Games. So that's going to be very interesting. And I got a couple other surprises coming within the next few weeks that I can't wait to share with you guys. So it should be pretty cool. But hopefully you guys check out my stuff. Check me out on Twitter. Check me out on YouTube. Hopefully I get a little bit more support, and you guys can enjoy all my content.
Yay. Awesome stuff, man. You got a mouthful of thing going on there. All right, guys. Well, stay tuned for the next episode of Let's Talk Gaming. This is episode 6. We're going to do episode 7, possibly later this week, once we gather up some more topics. And appreciate you guys coming through. Yes, Game Explain. Game Explain, yes. So yeah, thank y'all so much for the support. Thank you, JJ, for coming out, man. And peace, Garlic Nation. We'll see you on the other side. I'm out of here.